I want to. There was. I'm gonna take this call, even though.
Am I gonna regret it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody hadn't been waiting long enough. So Todd in Colorado, you're on with Phil and Matt. How are you?
Matt Dillahunty, it's great to hear your voice and be able to talk to you. Phil, how you doing?
Fantastic. Grazie.
What you got for us?
Hey, I believe you know my brother Scott and Bernie, and he's been trying to talk me into getting in touch with you. I am an atheist. I don't let many people know around me. I have a lot of good friends. I'm a very social person. When the topic comes up, I'm usually surrounded by, Catholics, Christians, and I have a hard time just stating my point, which is that, hey, if they want me to actually believe, then they have to provide me with evidence. But it's difficult without being ostracized. And just, if I got a group of Christians and Catholics around me, all kind of coming at me saying, hey, how do you prove, how do you say, that this happened? How did the world happen? How are there flowers? I mean, there has to be a God. And I'm trying to say, well, that really doesn't prove to me that God did it. So I have a hard time.
So Todd, I have an idea. I have an idea for you. When someone says, why do we have flowers, or where did the world come from? What I have historically done when a person asks me something like that, I ask them, is your intention to actually be educated on that topic, or are you trying to put me in a corner? And if they say, because they're gonna be tempted to say, no, I actually want to know. And then you say, why are you asking Todd? Why in the fuck are you asking me? I'm not the expert on that. Find a university and find someone in the horticulture department or chemistry department or biology department and go ask them. If you really want the answer, you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time by asking me, because I don't claim to have that information.
And we can all pretty much we can all pretty much know ahead of time that they're not asking because they want to know the actual scientific answer. They are in fact their argument is essentially, I think that I can explain all of this. Your model doesn't have an explanation for that, and therefore I'm on better footing than you are. And that's just not true, because if the right answer is I don't know, them pretending that they have the right answer puts them on weaker footing, because now they stopped looking for the right answer.
I hear what you're saying, and that makes perfect sense. The trouble I have is, these are, like social equals to me. These are close friends at times, and
that can be rough.
I don't want to be like, verbally beat up over this thing when I try to pose those kind of questions to them.
Well, there's nothing requiring you to ask them those questions either. You don't have to. I mean, if they're not bringing it up, you don't have to bring it up either. You can talk about safer stuff like sports and the weather.
Well, no, but when the topic is brought up, because usually I try to kind of deflect the conversation in other ways, just because I don't want to, get like almost backed into a corner, because I've got all of these people around me talking about, theism, and I'm trying to make a point, and they don't have the answers, because they haven't done the research, they haven't taken the time to educate themselves about this, but they use all kinds of things. Obviously, they use the words belief and faith and spiritual and so on. And I try to subtly suggest, like, well, you haven't provided me with any evidence.
You might want to try
what you're saying is a fact.
Yeah, slightly softer approach might be, you don't have sufficient, or you don't have good evidence, because almost anything could be considered evidence if you make the bar so low that it's very, very weak evidence. But what you're looking for is good evidence or strong evidence. So I wouldn't say it's not evidence, because then that kind of maybe puts them in a corner, but maybe it's time to find a group, and maybe when we're allowed to meet together again in groups, to go hang out with some people who aren't particularly religious, so that you have a little bit more of a broader base of people you can talk to.
And once my brother gets back to Colorado, he and I have spoken about searching for atheist groups, or why am I not thinking of the word?
Like secular humanists, free thinkers.
Secular. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're gonna look for groups around the area that I live, and hopefully, be able to communicate with them, and also develop good friendships with those people.
Absolutely. And if you have any difficulty finding a group, you can go to something like Facebook groups or meetup.com, and you can be the person that creates that new group in your area. And I'm telling you, if you build it, they will come. They're out there.
But you're in Colorado.
Thank you for saying that.
You're in Colorado, so you've got legal weed, which means that it's much better to get a bunch of people together and talk about philosophy stuff now.
Oh yeah. Oh, believe me, we do have some good dialogues for sure.
I'm sure. And maybe when this is over, I'll find a way to come visit. I'm going to move on to some other callers, Todd. But
thank you, Todd.
Reach out to those resources and stay strong.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Well, I got the thank you in, and the
thank you, Todd.
The delayed hang up is often
that's rough.